Hi there guys, and welcome to an extra special Trains in 2019 video. You've seen this before, you know what it looks like, but now I can officially say it is released. The West Coast Mainline Missing Link, or London Northwestern, not London Northwestern, Northwestern Midlands, is now released. It is available to all Alan Thomson Sim subscribers. It's not available if you're not subscribed, do be aware of that, and it's not available to buy separately. It is something you get with your subscription. So, we're going to do a quick run in a 350. Now, I say quick run, this is actually about an hour, because it's a stopping service, which I was quite happy with, because I thought it was the best way to show it off, really. Let's get you there, get that all checked, and make sure it's active.
And AWS operational.
Confirm my configuration, done. Let's get some lights on today. Instrument lights on as well. Do I have joystick set up? I do not. We're going to get the road any second now as well. Let me get that started up, because it's going to be a lot easier to drive with the joystick than without. Don't worry, the video on the joystick is coming, guys. It is coming. It's very complex. Let's stop callback. Sun lever. Then we can start callback. Okay. Now we're good. Right, yes, so it is available. It is available. I could call this a first look, but it's not really a first look. It's a sort of 90 millionth look for me, because I've been through it loads of times, testing it and all sorts. But yeah, it's opened up already to quite positive feedback, to be fair. There's been very little that's not been that positive, and that tends to be coming from a group of people that have decided they already don't like what we do, so fair enough. All good feedback is welcome to this. In the comments as well, feel free to leave anything you see or anything you found. Head on over to the website, hit the contact us button, or Facebook group even. I prefer it go through the website, because then we can give you a support ticket if it is something you're having issues with. So, right, let's see what we're just waiting for that to all settle down, which is quite nice. Pete likes to give us a bit of time to set up the cab, which I do quite like in some scenarios, but other times it's just a bit much. So our stopping pattern for today is Stafford, Crewe, Hertford, Runcorn, Liverpool, South Parkway and Lime Street. Yep. So this is one of the scenarios that comes with it. I think all in all, I think there's about 5 scenarios that come with it. We try not to flood it with scenarios. I know this sounds daft, but we know the community have been waiting for this for a long time, so we want to make sure that the community know what's there and what we've got, so they can do the fast runs, the slow runs, and I think there's a freight and a couple of oddball runs. But then we're really looking forward to seeing what you guys can do. Also, Ash Lightfoot, who has made, I think, a couple of payware scenario packs now. He has some content over on VP, some with us. He's done a payware scenario pack for this already. It's $4.99. I think that includes 5 scenarios. So if you like the look of that as well, you can go for that as well. But that's not, you don't need that to run the route at all. That'll just be if you want some extra scenarios. I ran this. When did I run this scenario? On the launch stream. It was one of the last scenarios I did on the launch stream. This scenario is by Pete Mitchell. There's a couple of Pete Mitchell ones, and then there's one that's by our new resident in-house scenario creator. That's a 319 empty stock move from Liverpool to, well, it goes to Stockport, but it doesn't actually go to Stockport because the route doesn't go to Stockport. I think it's a reversal at Crewe. So requirements for the route, for those of you that are interested, is Great Eastern Main Line, West Coast Main Line over Shap, Liverpool Manchester, North Wales Coastal, the Overhead Line Pack, and Trent Valley. So the reason for those is we tried our best to keep the requirements down as low as possible for what we had. There are a ridiculous amount of new custom assets in it. There was also a lot we already had available in the game anyway, so it was worth using what they're routes that we think that people would have. So I know people go, oh, but there's some requirements. Yeah, unfortunately there is. Lots of routes that have come out have had other requirements, so it's not anything new. I will say that it's not anything new. So this is phase one. Just to let you know, this is phase one. Phase one is Stafford to Liverpool. So the next phases are sort of up in the air. They're both being worked on as we speak, but it depends on how we release them. So phase 2, option 1, is Stafford to Birmingham. Phase 2, option 2, is the extension up to Preston. So there's several reasons behind what one might get released first or next. We don't quite know what that's going to be yet. Next one, the phase 3 and 4 and 5 will be Crewe to Manchester Piccadilly, and then 4 will be Corwich Junction to Stoke-on-Trent to Manchester, and then phase 5, which is proposed at the moment, is Rugby to Stafford. Alright, so next stop, Crewe. It's just a lot of the little details in this route that I really like. I mean, we've been through most of it before. And for me, this route hits the nail on the head for where it is. It's not a part of the line I get to explore that often, but I have done it a good few times, even on 1 or 2 research trips. I was never a massive West Coast fan. I'm definitely more an East Coast boy. Definitely more an East Coast boy. But the West Coast Main Line it's got variety. It's got way more variety than the East Coast has, really. And as much as the East Coast Main Line's got some very, very stunning natural scenic points, West Coast Main Line has a lot of man-made scenic points. There's lots of bits of really good industrial architecture, industrialisation, which I quite like. I know a lot of people like green trees and hills and cliffs and that sort of thing. I quite like seeing like refineries and sort of big industrious bits. So for me, West Coast Main Line has a good mix of both. And especially the north end of the West Coast Main Line, going through the Strathclyde Valley, the Lune Valley and all that, Lune Gorge and all that, stunning. Still a reason why West Coast Main Line North and West Coast Main Line over Shap are still 2 of my favourite routes in Train Simulator. So yeah, I'm really proud of how this has come out. This is the first full ATS release. It is the full Alan Thomson Sim release. It's our first proper route. It was started before Alan Thomson Simulations was a thing, but it has come out underneath our brand. So yeah, I'm proud of it, really proud of it. I'm liking it so much, I'm driving a 350 for you. Don't get me wrong, I like the 350, but I drove it so much when it was released. I got really bored of it. I didn't get bored of it, I got bored of driving it. So it's somewhat nice to have somewhere else to stretch its legs. Now this bit I moaned at Pete about, because I said it looks too sparse, but it's like, it's new, it's actually how it looks, it's not very detailed. It's like, okay, fair enough, and he's right. I just showed him the pictures of it, it's like, oh okay, fair enough. So, and do remember, this is just phase 1, and it being our first release. We're a new company. We've only been going, what, since February? So we're still learning with the releases as well, and that's why feedback's always welcome. We've worked with a few other developers on this as well, Zylog being one of them. He's a new developer in the train sim scene. He's worked on our ILS signals in this pack and several of our new assets. So we've brought a few people together with this one, which I'm quite pleased about. And the joy of it staying on the subscription side means that we can update it. It means it can constantly be updated. And that is the aim. This will be updated as we go. If we get further down the line and we find that we've made a new asset that does this, that'll get added in. Then there'll be a couple of weeks, then an update for this, then a couple of months, there'll be an update for that. So it's not just, here it is and here's a few patches. The route will still be being worked on. Even though it is ready to go, that was sort of a lot of the aim about the subscription model on ATS, was that you didn't just buy it and we then couldn't afford to go back or devote time or afford to devote time to go back and fixing things, or like other developers do. Sometimes we've had lots of stuff from Train Simulator that could do with being updated and never has been. Us doing the subscription model means that we have that constant ability to go back and do things, and that is one of the big selling points for us with the subscription model, is that you are able to get updates. We don't just have to make a route and then get all of our developers working on another route, and then we can't afford to take one of them off the new route to fix something that somebody's found on the old route, or to update something that we've updated on the new route for the old route. This way it means we can afford to keep doing what we want to do. And this is just the start. This is just the start. We're still at Chatmos in the works. That's due out relatively soon. That's coming along really well. And we've got the other phases of the Missing Link already in action anyway, so it's going well. It's going really well. And I have to give a massive shout out to people like Zylog, to Pete, to Max, to Kev Butler, to Matt, to Klaus, all of those people that have supported us in getting this route out and testing, making assets, find out little scripts and bits here and there. It's been a labour of love, don't get me wrong. A labour of love. And I hope you guys feel the same way. Hope you guys are getting it and going, oh actually that's really good. Oh, I like that. I was talking to Pete about it on stream the other night. For me, I like the trains. I like how they work, what they do, how they do it, how fast they do it, how slow they do it, how complexity, how complex whatever they do is, or how simple what they do is. Pete likes infrastructure. Pete likes routes, Pete likes scenery. I mean, the canals in this route are like as they are in real life. The overhead line, the line sign details, that sort of thing. Pete really tries his hardest to focus on them as hard as possible, because for him that's what he likes doing. That's his bit. For me, I like running the trains up and down it. He likes making them. And I think that's why there's such a wide variety of people in this hobby. There's You can be into architecture, you can be into technology, you can be into structures, policies, procedures. It opens up so many different avenues of interest, of specialist interest. Whether it be sort of civil engineering, could it be bridge architecture, signalling, there's loads of stuff. These are another little bit I like quite a lot in this room. So we've got these sort of boards which are used by sort of untracked plant and things like the road railer stuff, like them, and they're dotted all around the place where they should be. I really like those. Also, one thing I was really worried about during the development of this route, because it's so detailed and the way there's so much in it, was I was really worried about FPS. And there are a few points in the route where FPS can be a bit of an issue. We're aware of that, especially with the DTG 390. And we're working really hard for the next releases to try and lighten up some of those. Some of them are just because of the complexity of the route. Crew, for a start, is ridiculously complex, really. So you will get the odd frame rate drop there. I mean, I run it pretty steadily with lows of about 36 and up to about 50. That seems to be about average, even on people on quite low-end machines have been reporting decent frame rates, so I'm real happy. There's been one or two people that have had quite serious frame rate issues, but that doesn't seem to be just the route itself. So we're going through those bits of feedback as we speak, actually. But all in all, the feedback's been really positive. So I'm very pleased with that. It's always nerve-wracking well, it's with any release, but with the first release, I was incredibly nervous. Incredibly nervous. And the reason for phase 1 being released as it is because you've got a good distance to run. What we didn't want to do was make you guys wait ages until we had the full lot done, because that would be quite a while. But this, at least you can do Stafford up to Liverpool, so that's a steady run. It's a full run, really, of this phase of the route, and it was worth it. It was worth it. And like we always said with Alan Thomson, what we wanted to be able to do was give you things as and when we could. So it's getting slowed down for the approach to Crewe. hoping I don't actually have to stop, but I think I'm going to have to. Oh, no, brilliant. So this is the start of all the mad crew yards. It's the coal sidings that are my favourite down here. I'll try and show you without speeding. It's got 60. Let's keep it at that. Fly down and have a look. So through this AWS magnet. So as you can see, like all the crew yards are done. But then there's these bits that I really like. It's this set of sidings here. This sort of secure little compoundy siding. Love it. One thing I am looking forward to is somebody doing the LSL Open Day, because I see it over there. I've never got on or off anything on this platform at Crew in real life, but I've driven it loads in Train Sim. Well, we're going to have a look at, say hello to Brian. So, as a lot of you know, I have a little thing about the APT. And the guy that looks after it at the Crew Heritage Centre is a guy called Brian, who is an absolute legend. So he is now immortalised in Train Sim, doing a bit of work on the old girl, and he's in there. Also, another thing with your subscription to ATS is that AlanThompsonSim.com is also that you know you are also paying some money towards a decent project. So 10% of all our profits at the end of this year will go over to Brian specifically for the care and upkeep of the APTP. Brian does a lot of this by himself. I mean, he's got some help with people around him and stuff, but a lot of the fundraising and everything he has to do, he does by himself and off his own back. So we really wanted to give something back at the same time. So sort of only fitting that we sort of use the APT really. Did we make it in earlier? We did. No, well, a little bit. What time would you leave? 32. It's fine. It's 42 at Hertford, 50 at Runcorn, 1700 at Parkway, 1711 at Lime Street. Wait for me buzzes. Give her another wave as we pass. Still got to drive the APT up this route, to be fair. Not that I think it ever made it to Liverpool Lime Street. Maybe it did. I don't know. I'd need to speak to Brian. He'd be the person that would know whether it made it or not. Oh yeah, this caught me out last time. Oh, it's way slower than I did it on stream. Trust me. And straight into a neutral section is always helpful. Yes, does a function neutral sections as well. Then Hertford next, 10 miles. I'm just so pleased that you guys are going to get to drive this now. And like seeing people screenshots, seeing people put screenshots on the group has brought a massive smile to my face these past couple of days. I've literally been like, ah, brilliant. Well, 110, I think, this service. Yeah, 110. So it's been a bit of a learning curve, this route as well. I think Pete said this the other day. If you compare this like XC route which you made before, it's 10 times better. So what I'm expecting to see is the next phase is even improve on this and improve on that and improve on that. So we're constantly improving. And with the way we've done this, we're constantly able to improve. And I can't stress that enough. That all of you guys that have been out there and subscribed and supported us in doing this, it's been overwhelming. Thank you very, very much. And I hope this is a nice little bit of a reward for you. Is it Acton Bridge, that one, I think? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I can never remember this one. I think it is. No, it's Winsford. I've never actually got a stop-in service down here, if I'm honest. I actually missed Hartford on the stop the other day. Hoping to get a decent passing shot on that bridge as well. Actually, that would probably make quite a nice screenshot. Actually, not close my doors, but the time's stop. Oh, there we go. It's really nice, especially this time of night. That sort of, with the sun getting a bit low, looks bloody lovely. This is Acton Bridge. I'll get it right in the end. Oh, it's on top of yellow. That's just a diversion, so it's only it's 100 through there, I'm sure. I'm proud as punch of it. Not going to lie. I'm sure there'll be bits that you guys see that you think need to be tweaked or changed. Let us know. Let us know. We can do that. Oh, within the limits, of course we can. This route isn't fire and forget. It's not, oh, it's out, it's done now. I'm not touching it. It's continually going to be worked on. I don't get me wrong, Pete's having a week off it. But he's not, because he's been working straight away on it. He's supposed to have some time off it. But once we get the first update out, I think Pete will have to have a week's holiday, basically. It's another bridge I like. Oh, and I'm running this with the AP track enhancement pack. If you don't have that, you still get a route that looks pretty much the same. The track was actually built using, I can't remember what tracks actually use as standard. But I prefer the AP track. But there is a version out there for those that don't like the AP track. The standard version, it'll just run with that. This is Runcorn, famously where 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps was based. It's the bridges. Just love it. Love that bit. There's plenty of scope for some freight runs as well. You've got everything there, then you've got Jaguar Land Rover at Hellswood and all of that. Oh yeah, stop at South Parkway, a station I famously always miss. It's bad, man. I do always end up missing South Parkway. Or because what used to happen was, because you come around that bend so slowly, I always used to stop there. So then I started getting into my head that I didn't need to stop at South Parkway, and now I struggle to stop at it when I should stop at it. I used to do the same at Hitchin quite a lot. You come past it through so slowly that you'd stop regardless. Never judge this right. I'm trying to be really alert and like get it right. I don't know if I'm gonna. because I always expect to be coming up from that way. Right, penultimate stop done. I got in early. Wow. That was unexpected. So South Parkway and everything. This section of the route is Liverpool-Manchester, but it's been had all the overhead lines stripped out, redone, some of the track stuff done in it as well. So lots of little bits and pieces done to it. Liverpool-Manchester is always one of those very underrated routes that DTG did. Personally, I've got a lot of time for it. And it's got loads of really good assets with it as well. Loads of very good assets. I need to look through and work out who actually made it, see if I can find out who did, because they did a very good job. And thank them personally. If you're watching, thank you. It's the final little stretch into Liverpool I always find takes the longest bit. I don't know if it's just my impatience. But that slow crawl into Liverpool. I still miss the 30 board, see? Every time. I just think it's too early. In my head, it's too early. Network rail, please change it so we can change it in the room. And the new overheads in here, I think, look stunning. Then we will come in to the lovable. It is lovable. That was a cross between lovely and Liverpool, by the way, and came out as lovable. I quite like that. Lovable Liverpool Lime Street, which has been remodeled. So you've got the updated track and station model at Liverpool Lime Street. That's been done really cleverly, by the way, how that's been done. It's quite good. It means we can still use the DTG one. Also, you've got the new ILS signals at Liverpool as well, which is a nice touch. Some people have had some issues with a missing asset at the very beginning of, at the end of the throat, the station throat. I think if you re-download the overhead line pack, that fixes that issue. I'm not even sure what it was, if I'm honest, but I know Peter's fixed it. You're going to see, so when you get this, don't worry about you're not missing any track. This is actually how they've done it. There is actually lines that are not there anymore. So you can see we've got the ILS signals in now, and with distant glow, which I'm really, really pleased about. That was actually a really, really tough thing to get right, that Zolog spent a lot of time doing. I was a bit further ahead than I was there, giving you guys a cinematic entrance. Alright then guys, thank you very much for joining me. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Heading over to alanthomsonsim.com to get the route. Remember, you will need to be a subscriber and you will need the overhead line electric pack. You don't have to sign up to Alan Thomson Sim, but if you do, you get access to all the freeware that's there as well. You can get that free without paying for any subscription. You just put your details in, log in, create a login. You can get all the freeware that's available on the site. If you want the stuff that is classed as subscriptionware, which this route is, you can sign up for $29.99 for 12 months, and that will give you unlimited access to all of our content, missing link, merge, that sort of thing. The only thing that is an extra payment at the moment is overhead line electric pack, but you get 50% discount on that. You'll also get 10% off all of the payware products we sell, which is Just Trains at the minute, and you will also get exclusive discounts throughout the year. There's been quite a few that have got you a ridiculously cheap price on some quite big routes, so it's always worth keeping an eye on what sales we've got going at what time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please leave any feedback you want in the comments. That's been much appreciated. And once again, guys, thanks ever so much. I'll catch you next time.